Okay, today I'm blessed to have one of the hottest rappers that I've actually listened to, Rapper Big Pooh, formerly with Little Brother. Great overall MC, great in what he does. How you doing today, my man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I can't complain, man. First question off, man, like, what was the moment that you fell in love with hip-hop, and what did that look like to you?
I guess the moment probably for me was when I was probably about 10, 11 years old, so that was around like 90, 91. Just hearing different, hip-hop records on the radio. Of course, around that time, Kane was still, very active. EPMD, and LL Cool J, and a whole host of others, but that was really around that. It was really around that time, but I guess the time that I can truly say I fell in love with it to the point that I wanted to do it was 93, 94 when Nas Illmatic came out.
Wow. The classic album, man. Was that the first album you ever bought?
Nah, I don't even know the first album I bought. I know the first rap album that was bought for me was around that same time. My mom actually bought for me Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style. And
wow.
She didn't. The funny thing is,
she didn't know about to not know what that was, man.
Nah, she didn't, man. She bought me a new stereo and bought who was the radio version. She had no idea about, what the unedited version sounded like. When she heard it, she was like, "Oh man, I bought you Kevin Campbell CD."
It's funny. The first album I bought was Third Base album, the Cactus album, man. And I let one of my partners hear it, man, and his mom took that joint, and I never got it back, man. Now you grew up in Virginia, right?
Yeah, Northern Virginia, yeah.
Northern Virginia. What was that like, man?
It was cool, man. I mean, it was the typical, for me, typical childhood, man. I didn't have it all, but I wasn't, destitute. Like single parent home, spent a lot of time with my grandmother. I had older brother, younger sister. And it was cool, man. Like, you got a lot of freedom. I had a lot of structure. Well, not a lot, but I had structure, but I got a lot of freedom as well. So, I was able to experience things and live a little bit.
Now, was that like out in the country, man, or was that like in more of like a suburban area?
It was definitely more city.
Okay.
And like I was like 15 minutes outside of Washington, D.C., so
okay.
Like we had public transportation, so I was able to, get on the bus by myself by the time I was 19 years old, get on the train, go, all over the city. And, that's the freedom I was talking about. Like,
yeah.
Even though I was, 10, 11 years old, like I was still getting it. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk, like you was traveling at 10 years old, just moving like that, man?
Yeah, man, just moving and grooving, bro. Like, my mom, she worked all the time, so she always like, you want to go see your cousins or you want to go see your grandparents or whatever, like you got to get your butt on the bus and get your butt on the train. So for a little while, we actually lived right across the street from a train station. So early on, I just learned how to get on the bus and get on the metro and get where I need to be.
You can't do that today, man. Yeah, you can't move like that today in D.C. Nah.
Actually, the thing is, like, it's a lot. Just going back and visiting, it's nothing like when I grew. Like, it was way rougher when I grew up.
Really?
That was just the norm for us. That was regular. That was the way of life. Just going back to D.C. and the Northern Virginia now, like it's like my grandfather, he stayed in the projects down in downtown Alexandria. It's not projects there no more. It's all homes that cost $400,000 or $500,000 for townhomes. All types of stuff like that. Like they got rid of the projects and put in townhomes and condos. So
they're doing that a lot, man.
Yeah, it's a different city. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, back then, it was, like I said, it was a lot rougher. You know, this was before the age of cell phones and all that stuff.
Right.
So, you know, you had to have some change in your pocket. So, you know, your parents pretty much had to, you know, be like, okay, I believe my son or my daughter is going to be good if they go outside. Because I have no idea until they walk back through that door later tonight. You know what I'm saying? If they good enough.
Right.
I can't call it a checkup on them, so.
It's crazy, man, like how cell phones change everything, man, because now it seems like, man, you gotta have a cell phone for your kids or whatever, because you just, you know, you at that point where you're paranoid, man.
Definitely. You know, as we get older, man, I think as we learn more and more about, you know, how, you know, sick people are and you know, how people operate, you know, it definitely makes us, you know, kind of think twice or three times about, you know, certain things that, you know, we'll do, you know, as far as our kids is concerned. But, you know, growing up, man, it was nothing, man. I was just out moving and grooving, like I said.
Moving and grooving, huh? Now, as a rapper, man, I don't know if it happened with you, but I know too, when I used to rap, man, I had like about 5 different rap names, man, coming up, man. So was your name always Big Pooh, or did you have an alias before Big Pooh, man?
Man, I didn't even have a name, to be honest with you.
You didn't?
Nah, I didn't have a name, man. When I got to college, Big Pooh, Pooh Bear was a nickname that was given to me by older classmen, and it just stuck. Like, trying to figure out a rap name, it all felt fake. It didn't feel like me. But Pooh Bear was something I had been called since I got to college in 1998, and that was me.
Right.
It felt like me. So I just decided to stay with it.
That's what's up, man. That's like usually, man, it'd be switching up. Let me ask you this, man. Can you go back to the first time when you was ever on stage, like to do a show, and what that feeling was like, and what do you remember specifically about that, man?
Probably wanted to throw up. Sweating.
Real talk.
Yeah, man. Like I mean, even to this day, man, I still have a bit of stage fright, man. I'm a guy, like, if I don't feel nervous before I go on stage, even to this day, I think something is wrong. So, yeah, man, it was one of them experiences where I was definitely nervous, man, beyond nervous. And
was it a lot of people there, man?
I mean, the first time I really was on stage was talent show in school. And what grade was it? It was middle school, to be exact. Actually, no, elementary school. I'm tripping.
Damn. Okay.
And I mean, it wasn't the amount of people. It was who the people were that made me nervous. One of the reasons why I was nervous. But I mean, even as time got on and I got older and got into college and, you know, started performing or whatever, it's still, man, just going out there in front of people, just, you know, I don't know, man. It make me nervous, make me sweat.
What college did you go to when you were in North Carolina, man?
North Carolina Central.
Okay, got you. And that's where you met Ninth and Ponce and those guys, right?
Yeah.
What was that like, you know, just meeting with those guys and gelling with them?
I mean, it was all different. We all met each other at different stages, different phases, but it was just an experience where you just find the common ground, the common denominator, and you build off of that. And it kind of just all happened organically. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never set out to be a group. It just ended up happening, like, you know, a few years after knowing each other.
Really? That's dope, man. That's real dope. So, like, with being in a group for so long, what were some of the challenges in being a solo artist, and what obstacles did you have to overcome, if you had any at all?
I think the biggest thing going from group to being solo is, you know, having to put more on your plate as far as creative-wise, business-wise. Just more falls onto your plate where you know, maybe help with the hook or whatever, to now is my jam. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
All me. So, you definitely got to drum up inspiration from different places, and you know, it's definitely different from that aspect, man. You know, and then of course one of the things that's definitely different is it's all you. So you have to find your say on everything. There's no consensus. You don't have to check with anybody. At the end of the day, you just be like, I want this, or nah, I don't want that. So, you know, from the control factor is different as well.
Right. When you were doing your thing and you found your niche at college with music or whatever, was your family supportive of that? And like, what was that first conversation you like when you told them that you was going to major in being a rapper?
I mean, the funny thing is, my mom, you know, while she isn't, you know, super old and that like that, she's still of the you know, the mindset that, you know, you go to school, graduate, you get a job, get a house, pick a fence, wife, dog, kid. And so, for me to tell her that, you know, I'm doing music, first it go to what instrument you playing. It's like, nah, I ain't playing that. And then it goes to okay, so what you doing? I'm rapping. You rapping? Alright, yeah, that's cool, have fun, but what you gonna do when you graduate? So it wasn't really until she started. Well, I started sending her magazines, and she started seeing me in magazines. You know, maybe see me on a clip on TV or something like that. That it became real. Like, nah, this ain't just a hobby. So it took a while, but it took a while, but even after the listening and all that, it still was okay. Yeah, that's cool. You doing your music thing, but what you gonna do when you graduate? And, you know,
what's your real stuff gonna be though?
By that time, I had already dropped out of school, so it was, you know, it was just that. But you know, she definitely has always been supportive of, you know, what I wanted to do, as long as it was something positive. She was always supportive. Always been supportive.
That's beautiful, man. That's real beautiful. You transitioning over, you got your career going, and, you know, starting to move, man. When the first time that you realized that you actually were being successful, like the first time you had your joint on the radio, man, what was you doing, man? Like, what was that experience overall, man?
I mean, it make you feel good, but it make you want more at the same time. Like, it was for me, it was always, okay, what's next? As opposed to, it was always what's next, as opposed to, oh man, I did it. I'm good. Like, now I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But what's next? What's the next goal? What's the next thing I can do? What's the next thing I can accomplish? So, like I said, while I felt good, I was just one of them people that I never really, you know, got too excited about things. It was like, all right, let's go. What's next? What's the next step? So that's just kind of how I've been, period.
Right. Do you feel that sometimes you don't get to enjoy the moment though when that happens, man, or is it just most like definitely. You know you? Yeah.
Most definitely. Like, you know, I tell all young people, you know, that I end up working with, or just helping mentor or whatever, some shape, form, or fashion. I always tell them, always let them know, like, yo, enjoy what you're doing, enjoy what you're going through, because you're going to look back on it. You know, time goes by faster than you think. And you're going to look back and be like, damn, I ain't take advantage of, you know, when I was here or when I was doing this, or I wasn't really in the moment when I was doing this or doing that. And you know, a lot of them opportunities you never get again. And
exactly.
You know, like it took me 6 years from the last time, you know, little brother went overseas for me to go back to Europe. Like, it was a 6-year gap. Yeah, so like when I went, when I went back, which was like 2 years ago, when I went back, I really enjoyed and soaked it up. Like I really enjoyed everything that I was
crazy,
doing,
man.
And I was in the moment because I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna be back, and I haven't been back, in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? All that,
my dude, man, I feel you because I used to be in the Navy, man, and when my first 2 deployments or whatever, I go and I party and I did all this other stuff, but I never really got to actually took the time to see the cities and sightsee and actually see the culture, man. You know what I'm saying? And so my third go around, I was like, you know what I'm gonna do different? I'm gonna really just focus on enjoying the moment, man. And that's what I think that like we miss in general, so many of us, man.
Definitely. So
yeah,
I mean now as I do things, I definitely try to be more in the moment, but I still have the mentality of what's next.
Right.
Like that's just the way I'm built, what's ingrained in me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we get in our things, work, family, sleep, and we forget that, hey, look, enjoy your family. If you're not doing something you love, you just working to work, and then you gone. Definitely.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
How do you feel like hip hop has evolved since you started hip hop now?
I mean, everything is cyclical, man. It all goes in cycles, man. When we were really coming out, it was after the the raucous era. So yeah, it was turning into something else. And now, it's kind of a hybrid of, guys that like, I can really rap. I'm showing you who I really am. I'm not a character of somebody else. So I'm not, super this or super that. And they're showing you more who they are. And I mean, you still got that other stuff out there too, but it's definitely more of everything. Excuse me, as opposed to just all of one thing. And so it's like I said, man. And then I think also in that, with the internet, becoming so viable and streaming and, satellite radio and all those different things playing a big part in how people consume music, it also changed, it allowed more room for everybody. Like the radio isn't the only, they aren't gatekeepers anymore. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole bunch of young guys out here, regardless of what you or I think of their music. It's a whole bunch of young guys out here that's really, really getting it, and they don't get played on radio. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk. I mean, you look at them, and it's just like, wow, they got their own following with no spin. So, like, it's a totally different way they do it now, right?
Definitely.
Now,
it's niche based. You find your niche and you work it.
I don't know if you've been hearing the news with SoundCloud. I know it's been going out that they basically just got bailed out, I guess, but they're one of the biggest contributors to independent music. How do you feel that that's impacting as far as like if that's taken away, if that's no longer on the table? What do you think the future has for like independent artists?
Man, I think at this point, I think they'll still be good because there's other platforms out there. SoundCloud just happened to be, one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
Right.
And I think SoundCloud really, they messed themselves up by trying to compete with the big boys. It's like if they would have kept it how it was, with a lot of independent artists really coming through there and DJs doing mixes and things like that. If they would have kept it on that level, they wouldn't have needed. It wouldn't have been no need for a bailout. But trying to get in bed with the major labels and things like that, they kind of stepped over that cliff into territory that they weren't familiar with. And, you know, everybody wants to level up instead of being, you know, really, really killing it at the level they at. So, you know, I think, like I said, man, I think that even if SoundCloud was to go under, man, it's gonna be somebody right there to take their place. Like, people just gonna move on to the next thing. They not gonna be like, oh, SoundCloud dead, the independent shit is dead. Like, nah. Independent artists have always had to find ways to maneuver in the you know, in the atmosphere, and they gonna always find ways to maneuver in the atmosphere. Like, even when SoundCloud started taking people's music down, it's like, all right, we go to audio, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna get this work out.
You're gonna get it out some way or fashion. Now, do you feel like that artists as a whole, and I did an article once, man, on my webpage, but basically looking at the music that way it's presented now, and you said, you know, go to the store, buy an album, and to me, people put effort, people put work in those particular albums, and then you have streaming services come along where you can listen to, you know, everybody's album and not necessarily purchase that one album. Do you think that in a way that it's affected the way people do their music now, as far as like releasing whole albums? Do you see a shift or paradigm of more people doing like singles and EPs versus albums, or putting less effort into the album?
Most definitely. I mean, with the rise of the mixtape era, you kind of started seeing people, you know, not putting as much into, you know, making albums as before. Then of course the single always been important, but when the ringtones was popping, it put an even greater importance on singles. So, like, even now, man, I just see a lot of people moving towards the EP, you know, method as opposed to the album method. It's like, you know, it's more than the single, but it's not as much as an album. And I see a lot of people trending that way. You know, it's kind of the best of both worlds. It removes filler. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. And I definitely think, you know, people, you know, because of the way people consume music, and I think people definitely started changing the effort and all of the work that they put into, you know, creating the music now. Cause I'm not gonna front, man. It's like, if you spend 6-7 months, you know, working on a project, and you put it out and it falls on deaf ears, like, that take a toll out of it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody isn't at a Cole level or Kendrick level or Drake level or Big Sean level. You know what I'm saying? So if I spend, you know, my time, my hard-earned time and money putting into, you know, working on this record, I want to see some type of, you know, get back from that. Like, it ain't all got to be financial, but you still want to see fruits of your labor. So, like I said, I definitely see it trending now more towards EPs as opposed to just singles or doing full albums.
Yeah, I see it from, like, I see exactly what you're saying. And unfortunately, man, you know, I remember, like, getting the College Dropout album and have a storyline, you know, so it's telling you, like, you know, where it starts off, or A Reasonable Doubt, you know, just albums, a Little Brother album, you know, which, you know, you can listen to the Minstrel Show and it'll take you on a journey, you know. And me as a music head, I love that experience. But the attention span for me seems so short right now. Like, a Jay-Z album could come out, and in 2 weeks we're talking about another album that just came out. So as an artist, I could see both sides, you know, of the spectrum.
Yeah, man. I mean, you gotta think, like, you know, KASS put out records, and, you know, a month later, people like, yo, when you putting out some new music? And it's like, bro, I just put everything I had you know, into this one record. Like I don't have nothing else yet. Like it don't work that way. And that's kind of how people have been trained to we just want more. I want to consume more, and you know, it's like, yo, I'm giving you what I got. You know what I'm saying?
I think it goes back to what we talk about and just really enjoying the moment and really just embellishing a body of work. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I mean, that goes through all facets of life, though. You know, not just music.
I got a question for you. What was the last album you purchased, man?
That's a good question. I don't know, to be honest, man. I had to go look because sometimes I just keep hitting the buy button on iTunes and don't because I'll go through and I'll listen to records and then decide if I want to buy them or not. Like, that's, you know, I'll stream them to see, okay, do I want to buy this? Do I want to buy that? And then I'll just hit that buy button if I like what I hear. So,
I got you.
Shit, I don't even know, to be honest. I have to go look.
No worries. So,
because I'm not always up to date. Like, that's the thing. Like, I be behind. You know where? You know, I'm not gonna say everybody. A lot of people they on whatever the new fresh shit. Like I'm late to the party because I'm too busy. You know, doing what I'm doing. So by the time I get to the party, like who knows? You know how late it is. But it's new to me.
You got that? Yeah, you got those episodes of The Wire on DVD yet?
Man, I mean, I've been watching that. I'm good on that.
Okay, just checking, bro. Yeah, so you work with okay. Are you on Power yet, man? Are you watching Power, right?
Yeah, I'm watching Power. I'm a couple episodes behind, but I'm almost up to date.
Okay, I ain't gonna do no spoilers on you then, man. All right. So I noticed on one of your albums, a song called Eyes Wide Open. You work with KASS. That's like one of my favorite rappers, top 5, dead or alive. How did that come about, and what was that like working with KASS in particular?
Man, I mean, for me, it was super dope. I mean, I grew up listening to KASS, and you know, obviously think he's phenomenal lyricist, and I've known KASS for a while, man. I forget how we met, but just always been super cool, super humble, and down to work. And we had actually did a joint before, and I ended up taking him off the song, and it was him and another guy, and I took them off the song and just made it my record. So when I hit him, I was like, yo, man, I this record or whatever. And I mean, he was cool. He was like, yo, let's get it done. And it actually, you know, it just so happened that he had just put out, he had just put out his record with Apollo Brown. And
I saw you got a joint on there too with him.
Yeah. And the record I ended up working on with KASS was for the project me and Apollo was doing, so it kind of worked. And then we ended up touring together in Europe for a month.
Nice. H2O2 from C, that was my stuff, man. Dead or alive, man, is there anybody that you'd love to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Yeah, man. I mean, I still, you know, want to do something with DJ Quick. I still want to do something with Pharrell.
Okay.
I still haven't had the chance to, you know, do something with DJ Premier. Of course, Nas, one of my favorites ever. So, you know, he in it on that. Man, it's more, but I'm more of a want to work with, you know, some of my favorite producers that I haven't had a chance to work with. Like I haven't met Pharrell, but I've met, you know, Quick a few times. Of course, I know Premier. But to actually be able to do something with them guys be like crazy.